Hello everyone, Ben Woodruff here with another Falconry video. Today's video is a short one, but it's important. And it is about aggression in accipiters. Now, this video actually applies to all birds of prey, but it's most magnified and amplified with accipiters. And that's why I'm bringing it up here. But these principles will apply to any bird of prey you train. Now, I have a lot of friends and former apprentices and friends all around the country here in the United States that it's spring preparing to pull and train a wild imprint accipiter. In the United States, our options are goshawks, Cooper's hawks, and sharp-shinned hawks. Of course, there are other accipiter species around the world, but these are commonly flown in the sport. I have been thinking on this video for a while. I actually wanted to break down all the different tricks and training techniques to help avoid aggression with accipiters, but I've changed my mind. Instead, I'm going to do those throughout the summer and fall as separate videos showing techniques. And this is kind of the intro. I want to give the underlying principle. The problem is when dealing with aggression, a lot of times people will simply treat the symptoms. They'll just say, this bird is attacking me or being aggressive on the fist. How do I get this to stop? Here's a trick that works. Great, now it's stopped. And you never stop to think, well, what's the deal? What was actually really underlying causing the behavior? And that's an important thing that we normally don't consider. We're just happy if the aggression goes away. So here is the principle. Aggression is not bad. And aggression never can be totally gotten rid of in a bird. It's always there. So I want you to have a visual of aggression being a thing. Whatever you want. Let's say your bird is possessed by a demon and there's this little fireball demon inside of your bird. It's always there. You can't get rid of it. You can't. You can only direct it. You can only channel it. Aggression is supposed to be there. When you see a goshawk fly down and grab hold of a pheasant out of the air, bring it to the ground, nobody says, oh my goodness, that goshawk is displaying an awful lot of aggression. Nobody views it that way. We don't. And to a toned down version, when a red-tailed hawk lands on your fist gently and bends down and eats a piece of meat that you have there, nobody's like, oh, my red-tailed hawk is displaying a little bit of aggression. Aggression is a term that we use, that we put a spin on, a negative spin. But aggression is there. Within a bird of prey, there is built in the wiring to pursue prey. This is normal, this is natural. And if it is directed at prey, nobody has any qualms or any problems with it. Now, I've said in other videos that there is a transition time where this can get out of whack with babies and their parents. So let's say, for example, you have a nest full of Cooper's hawks, and these babies are learning to fly, and they're starting to climb out and scramble around the tree and fly back and forth between branches. Mom and dad are still bringing food, and the wiring of we should be aggressive towards food and towards what we are hunting is starting to amp up in their brain. Well, if mom and dad come to the nest, then the babies might attack mom and dad because all they know is whatever is related to food, we should attack. Aggressively, again, is the term we would use. Now, what the parents do is at this age, they channel and direct that aggression in their youngsters, in their babies. They don't say, well, you're being aggressive, I'm not going to bring you food. What they do is they will catch a bird and maim it so it's still alive. And even if it dies on the way, the intention is to have it somewhat intact. And they fly near their babies who are meh, meh, calling and wailing, begging for food. They fly within the region of the nest, and the babies see them, they're hungry, and they start flying, and mom and dad drop the prey and the babies grab it. Or if the prey is still alive, it starts to fly away and the babies catch it. So the parents train their offspring to have the aggression channeled towards the appropriate outlet, which is quarry. So the whole purpose, even in nature, like falconry aside, if falconry didn't exist, aggression would still exist in these birds, and it would still need to be channeled in the proper way at the proper age. Now, falconry works well. Falconry is the art, of course, of training a bird to trust you. Hunting comes natural to them. Now, we can help them with their hunting. We can form a partnership of hunting companions of mutually beneficial behaviors. But that ability to hunt is normal. It's natural. Even if you don't like it, even if you say, well, I think it's wrong that animals hunt. Well, that's what they do. It's what they're built to do. So where the problem comes in is if you're raising a baby, we're mammals. We think like mammals, and we're used to, I've got this, I raised this puppy and it's so loving. It's like, well, birds of prey are not puppies. They're not built or wired the same way. So I want you to visualize that there is this aggression and it must be channeled towards quarry. If your bird is being too aggressive on the fist, too aggressive on the lure, too aggressive on the kill, then the aggression is not being directed appropriately. And there's little tricks all along the way. Watch my Cooper's Hawk video that gives some tips on switches, and I'll talk more about that in other videos. But you have to watch and observe and see, is aggression being directed in the wrong areas? And there's little tricks all along the way. Like, for example, if you have a goshawk and you give it food and there's feathers on it, it will mantle over aggressively over that kill. Meanwhile, if you hand that bird the same food plucked, the aggression is much farther down because it doesn't click in. This is something feathered that I'm supposed to defend. Rah! And if you take that same amount of plucked food and cut it into 5 different pieces, give a little piece, then put another piece on the ground, they hop to that piece, hop to that piece, hop to that piece, you've kept the aggression all the way down. So I will have tricks and training tips in the coming weeks and months that are more specific, but keep in mind that visualization of aggression is in there, and you need to channel it towards prey or what the bird thinks is a hunt. And I'll have other tricks to do even if you can't get out hunting, how you can still replicate a false hunt in a way that will work well. But just remember that almost every behavioral problem with an accipiter can be smoothed out and improved by more hunting, by more active game hawking. If your bird's being too loud, the more you hunt it, the better it's going to be. Your bird being too aggressive, let it hunt, let it hunt, let it hunt. That's what it's built to do. So this principle applies to all birds of prey, but again, especially with accipiters and especially with accipiters that you are imprinting. So visualize that aggression being pointed or channeled to the correct directions, the same way that the parents in the wild help channel that aggression towards the proper directions it should go. So that's kind of my intro. The overarching principle to every training technique to try to stop aggression in accipiters is that principle that I've just shared, directing aggression to the proper places. So keep that in mind as you're training any of your birds, and watch for some more detailed videos in the coming weeks. And as always, happy hawking.